Of the many possibilities for a cookbook, there were two things that I wanted to do. The first of which is to pay tribute to our native cuisine, which is why Notes from My Kitchen is Filipino-inspired. And actually have a cookbook that works, meaning penned by my students. Because if my students have penned it in such a way, that means it becomes easier to do and to understand, even by someone who doesn't really cook all that much.
Yeah.
Notes from My Kitchen was born out of my kitchen veterans. You see, when I first started to teach, I used to hand out blank pages of paper. And my students would come to class. And prior to that, I'd first go to the market and see what's fresh. And based on my outline, buy the ingredients for that particular outline. Many times, the dishes that I had in mind are not the dishes that I'd end up with. I would like to think that the way I cook is free-flowing, without borders. So I create as I go along. That said, I never had notes. I would always hand out back sheets of paper, and my students would do their own notes as the class progressed and as we continued cooking, the exact same way, commando style. They've mastered the art of note-taking. Notes from My Kitchen came to be because many years after, 20 years down the road, my students who have been with me, continue to be my students, they still take down notes, and with such great precision. That's what Notes from My Kitchen has in store for the reader. Many, like I told you, I have students who never even knew how to fry an egg, who are now roasting turkeys, baking, doing so many things. I mean, in fact, if you don't cook at all, and because of me, you're able to fry an egg or to scramble one, if I've inspired you enough to do just that, then I'm happy. I know they like the liempo salad because it's very different. They're in awe of the green kare-kare, which is our pistachio kare-kare. I also know that a lot were actually blown away by our traditional kare-kare that I cooked in a very big pot, which was traditional style. Find someone who'll inspire you enough for you to enter the kitchen. But whatever it is, find inspiration, find time. And I know because I've had so many students in my lifetime. Someone will say, but I don't enjoy it. But after they've come to class and they're able to cook one dish, they're inspired. So from there stems inspiration and the desire to cook some more. But you can't really say you don't want to if you've never tried. Like everything else, everyone needs a book. The feel of paper on your hands is always different. Notes from My Kitchen, I think, embodies the person that I am or that I've become through the years. Like I said, those recipes were written with you in mind. And I'd also like to think that it is a book that wants to share all that I can with you. Notes from My Kitchen is personal because it is my gift to you. I will continue to make cookbooks because a book it's a legacy that you leave behind. Why buy books? Because you can always learn from anybody and everybody. Not one cookbook is better than the other. All cookbooks have their own contribution and their own rightful place depending on what you are in search of. Books are always beautiful and they're timeless.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our guests from all over the world, from the USA, from Canada, here from Manila. My name is Jacob Benedicto, and I will be your host today. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of Notes from My Kitchen by our very own Chef Reggie Aspiras. It is, it's a book that I have personally cooked from myself, and it is something very special. Now, I'd like to introduce our star today. She writes a weekly column for the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Aside from being a culinary arts instructor, a food consultant and caterer, she was also hailed as icon of industry by Yummy PH in 2018. And she is the author of best-selling cookbooks, the Kitchen Rescue Books, K-Drama Cookbook, and of course, Notes from My Kitchen. Let's all welcome Reggie Aspiras.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you for doing
Chef
this.
Reggie, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, Good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us. It is our pleasure to have you. We're going to have fun today, right, Jacob?
Yes, we are. Yes, it's always a fun time when you spend the day with Chef Reggie Aspiras. And I know this from personal experience as we have cooked together so many times.
And eaten together and even traveled together. So we've had so many culinary adventures together, Jacob and I. And today we're going to take you to a culinary adventure as well.
Yes, exactly. So let's begin talking about Notes from My Kitchen, Chef Reggie. Who is this book for? How has this come about? Who would you dedicate this to?
I dedicate it to everybody. Actually, Notes from My Kitchen is a culmination of many things. It's actually me finding myself in food. I've been and I've cooked everything. I've done so many things for a lot of people. But then again, at the end of the day, it's always Filipino that I go home to. So that's what Notes from My Kitchen is all about. It's really a coming home. It's a coming home of myself as a cook and my repertoire also. So that's it in a nutshell. It's for everybody who loves Philippine cuisine, who cooks and who wants to be reminded of home. But of course, it's done in many ways. Some recipes are traditional, while some recipes are as well very modern. There's a modern spin to what is traditional without losing the essence of it. So that's what Notes from My Kitchen is all about.
I think that makes it quite a special book. Actually, we have a special message from the Department of Tourism Secretary, Ms. Bernadette Romulo Puyat. Let's watch this.
Congratulations to Chef Reggie Aspiras for the launch of her ebook, Notes from My Kitchen. This is such an honor for me because not only is Chef Reggie one of the best chefs in the Philippines, but she also happens to be the daughter of our first Tourism Secretary, Joe Aspiras, or otherwise known as Sunshine Joe. To our tourists, balikbayans, and lovers of Filipino food, may you discover new favorites as our classic dishes are presented in a playful and stylized twist. Cook and try exciting new dishes such as green pistachio kare-kare, or be bold with your lechon, or recreate your favorite lumpia or pancit, depending on what ingredients you have. Notes from My Kitchen will certainly make cooking and dining more fun. Congratulations once again, Chef Reggie Aspiras.
Wow, thank you so much, Department of Tourism Secretary, Ms. Bernadette Romulo Puyat.
Thank you, Secretary Berna. That was a wonderful message. Yes, indeed.
Hearing things like green pistachio and pancit and lumpia, I'm getting hungry just thinking about all the food that's in this book.
Later, Jacob, let's talk about the dish that you prepared from there.
Oh, I'm excited to share that with the audience. And speaking of the audience, I'd like to remind everyone that you can use the Zoom chat box. If you have any messages for Chef Reggie, any questions about the book, please chime in to our Zoom chat and we will be able to relay these questions later on in the Q&A portion of this launch. All right, let's move on to a few questions we have prepared for you, Chef Reggie. Where did you learn to cook? Like, where did this all start?
I started cooking when I was 6, Jacob. I don't know if I was really taught. It was just something that was of great interest to me. Growing up, you see, I was always with, I grew up in a large household. My dad was a politician, as you know. So growing up, we always had big parties. So I'd see lots of people in our house cooking big kawas of food. It was always like a fiesta for us. So that was the way I grew up. And Mom was a good cook. And when I was growing up, we also had a very good cocinera. And her name was Aling Emmy. And she used to cook really nice cinnamon rolls. And every time she'd do them, I'd be so intrigued. And that's how I started in the kitchen. So it was basically our cocinera, Mom, and my Lola. All of them cooked. So I guess that's how it started. My love and my romance for the kitchen started at a very young age.
Do you have that one recipe where when you cooked it, you're like, wow, I can cook. Like, I feel like I can do this.
You know, I'll tell you this. When I baked cookies the very first time and they were burnt, I actually told myself, They were burnt. And I actually told myself I can cook. You see?
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I was actually always, I think, in my opinion, very brave in the kitchen. So at a very young age, I just cooked and cooked. And
Yes,
this is where I am now.
And I know from personal experience, I'd like to share with the audience. Chef Reggie and I, we shot something in our home where I brought my girlfriend, and we did it's kind of a cooking challenge based on my notes from my kitchen. Chef Reggie, she reached out. She said, choose any recipe here, and then you and your girlfriend will cook it in my home. And Jacob, you'll cook it by yourself, and Callie, I'll guide you and cook it. And my gosh, we cooked the most amazing tuyok pasta. And I tell you, simple ingredients, amazing flavors. I'll never forget that dish.
But do you remember how that turned out quite differently? Yours and mine and Callie's. But then you have to realize food is such. Not one person will be able to cook the exact same dish the exact same way. But it's going to be nonetheless delicious and nonetheless yours. So keep cooking. And there's only one thing that I can tell everybody. I think you should just keep tasting your food. That's the only secret I think there is in terms of coming up with a beautiful dish. You grow and you develop your dish as you go along. You season according to you. You do things according to you, because at the end of the day, regardless of what anyone says, a good dish is a dish that makes you happy.
Yes. And I think that is quite a good tip. While we were cooking, I could see Chef Reggie was tasting the pancit. I, on the other hand, was not tasting it. So at the very
you were
end,
so confident, right? No, you were actually panicking the whole time. It's like, why does that look like that, right? Do you remember?
I know, I really was. Now, all this talk about cooking, let's watch a demo video of Chef Reggie with her niece cooking for everyone. Let's watch this video.
Yeah, let's see how easy it is to cook.
Instead of me cooking this recipe today, I'm going to ask my niece Marielle to cook this. She actually hasn't cooked a day in her life, so she's giggling. But we'd like to prove to you that with this cookbook, it's quite easy to cook. We're cooking baked prawns with lemongrass butter, page 59 of the book. Although we're not baking it today, we're just going to do the exact same recipe in a paellera on the stove. So Marielle, let's just follow the recipe on page 59. The first thing we're supposed to do is clean the shrimp.
Clean the shrimp? Sounds simple enough.
Do you know how to clean shrimp?
No, but luckily you're an expert chef and can tell me how.
So Marielle, it turns out you don't know how to clean shrimp, so we cleaned it for you. On the recipe, it says, toss shrimps in a bowl.
Alright.
Then put some salt. Put the pepper. Put some vegetable oil. There, just give it a swirl. Sriracha. Some sugar. And some wine. 2 tablespoons of the wine.
Chef Reggie's wine. 2 tablespoons?
Yes. Just mix that to combine. Do that gently. All right, you're doing well, Marielle. Add cilantro. Add the chilies. And mix that. And leave it a few minutes, up to 30 minutes maximum before we cook it. The first thing you're supposed to do now is to combine all the ingredients for your lemon butter sauce. This is a spin off the regular lemon butter. Ours is going to be with lemongrass and sriracha and a host of other things. So combine the following things: 1/2 cup butter, 1 tablespoon sriracha, 2 tablespoons minced lemongrass, 1 tablespoon minced garlic, 1 teaspoon ginger, 1 teaspoon chilies chopped. Of course, you adjust everything according to taste. 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric.
1/2 teaspoon.
You can add patis, 1 teaspoon. 4 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of aromatic seasoning wine, 1 tablespoon lime juice, calamansi juice, or lemon juice. Fire up your stove, stop, and then mix that with your spatula until the butter melts.
Cool.
Is it hard?
No, this is so easy.
So you think you can cook now?
This will be my favorite recipe.
Because you just have to mix
My
it.
one and only recipe.
A gentle simmer there. And then taste it now, Maria.
Mmm.
What does it need? More salt?
Salt. Mmm. Really good.
What does it taste like?
I'm such a good cook.
Be careful, huh? Okay, 1, 2.
It feels pretty hot.
Okay, go. Your shrimps. Slowly, Marielle, that's gonna splatter. So move a little bit there. Just until it changes color. Leave it there. Leave it for a few seconds there, maybe about 30 seconds before you flip it. 3, 2, 1. Turn it around. Don't overcook your shrimp, so the minute they change color, turn it around. All right, go ahead and plate it. There you go. Nice. It's alive, it's fresh. Is it easy?
Yes.
All right. Something you can do and will do again.
Yes. Maybe tomorrow.
All right, pour the sauce now.
Okay. Easy to make. Really good shrimp.
The complete recipe is on page 59 of Notes from My Kitchen.
Oh, thank you so much for that video. You know, I have to admit, I too have never cleaned a shrimp in my life. So I don't know how that even works, but it looked delicious.
And easy. It was easy too.
And easy. Very, very easy indeed. I'd like to remind everyone watching us through Facebook Live and through Zoom that you can chime in your questions in the comment box or through the Zoom chat. So wow, that was a great, great, great video. Chef Reggie, I'd like to ask, what are the differentiating factors between your cookbook from other local cookbooks in the Philippines? What makes it different?
Well, to begin with, the cookbook was penned by my students. So
Oh, there you go.
those were recipes that were taught in class by me, and my students were the ones who actually took notes to build the book. So my students over time, you know, Jacob, that when I started to teach, I didn't even have recipes. I go to the market, I have like a theme for the day, and then like things that in my head I'd like to cook, so that would be part of the schedule. I go to the market and then see what's available, and I'll get that and distribute blank sheets of paper during class. And my students would take notes, and they became master note takers. And these students of mine have been my students for over 20 plus years, going on, I think 30 by now, 30 years. And they're still with me, and they're still taking notes the way they take notes, and their notes are noteworthy. There, so
How do you keep students coming back for 20, 30 years? Do you not run out of recipes? I mean,
no, you know,
where did
we've
the
cooked,
inspiration come
you know, as you can see, we have a green pistachio there. So we've a green pistachio kare-kare in the book. We've done kare-kare in so many ways. We've done adobo in so many ways. We've done so many things in so many ways. But then you have to realize food is vibrant. It's forever changing. So cooking styles, new ingredients, new ways of doing things. So it's never static. It's forever evolving. And as such, we have wonderful recipes each and every time. So perhaps the kare-kare that I did 5 months ago, there's probably a new ingredient or a new thing that popped into my head, and I have a new kare-kare again. So we never repeat recipes. We never do classes over again. But each and every time we cook things differently. And you know what? I'll tell you this. If there's anything that I am, one of the things that I'm most grateful for are actually my students. The people that I'm most grateful for are my students. They've stuck with me through thick, through thin. They've seen me as I've seen them grow old, we've become better people because of each other. And I'm very, very grateful. They're not students to me, they're family. And they have become a pillar of strength for me. And I continue to be very grateful for each and every one of them. And my tribe, as I call them, has just grown immensely and continues to grow. And you know, what can I say? We love each other. That's what it is.
Where can I sign up? That sounds like the family that I want to be a part of.
Of course,
How do I
that's
sign up
our
for that?
family. Yeah. Well, when we start cooking again, and we're cooking soon through Zoom, it's just that, you know, I have a hard time. I'm still trying to grasp on the idea of cooking through a video.
Through the camera. Oh,
the,
yes.
the reason why I love teaching is because I have all of them with me. I love their presence. I love the banter. I love the interaction. For after all, that's what cooking and food is all about. I cook for them. They bring me warmth. They bring me satisfaction by loving what I do and enjoying my food.
That's so nice. Do you have any students who have started their culinary journey with you and now are doing things in the culinary field? Maybe like a catering business or a restaurant. Have any of them graduated into other food businesses after starting from your kitchen?
Oh, I have so many. I have so many of them. And counting still. I even have students who never knew how to roast lechons and are now roasting lechons, doing turkey, doing all these things that, you know, that were to them so unimaginable, right? But now they're very, very good cooks.
So I think the overall message is food doesn't have to be hard. Food doesn't have to be scary. Food doesn't have to be difficult.
No. And you know, one thing that I wish I bring to everybody who enters my kitchen is this. They should never be afraid. They should always just cook. I hope that in my own little way, I have shown them, each and every one who has been with me in my kitchen, I hope that I've shown them that cooking is actually very easy to do. And all you have to do is try and have fun with it. It's not supposed to be something that's cumbersome. It's just something that's supposed to be fun. You throw things in there, you see what happens. Usually it's okay. Many times it's not okay. But then again, guess what? You can start all over again.
That's true. That's true. That's the beauty of cooking and food. Actually, we have one of your students here saying hello. See, Mark Isidro says he is a proud 11-year student. I came to Chef Reggie's class with 0 cooking knowledge. Now I have 6 restaurants because of her.
You know, Mark is the owner of Mad Marks. He makes one of the best ice creams in the metro. So
Mark, I love your macadamia nut ice cream.
Oh, that's my favorite too. His macadamia is excellent, right?
My gosh. See, these are stories that I find just so amazing.
Yeah, and
just
also,
so
you know, Dedet, right? Dedet, who does lechon. She was my student, and now she's the lechon diva.
Yes, lechon diva.
Yes,
oh my
so,
God.
You know, I have so many people. I mean, so many wonderful people in my kitchen. Too many to mention, in fact.
Aside from, of course, just releasing notes from my kitchen, are you planning on working on other future recipe books, cookbooks coming up?
We just did our K-drama cookbook, right? So we just did our K-drama cookbook, which is, by the way, thanks to all of you, also a bestseller. So that was one. And then we're coming up with Notes from My Kitchen to the Gourmet Cucinera series. The Gourmet Cucinera series is a spin-off, a cooking class, actually a series of cooking classes that I did long before when my school was still at the Shangri-La. It was basically, they were classes that were designed for people in the kitchen, in the house, people who love to cook, either because Gourmet Cucinera was basically made for the cooks, the home cooks. So the people from their houses would send their cooks to me, and I teach them how to prepare food so that every time they go home and there's a party, they could cook a whole soup to nut thing of one themed menu. So like Manang would be able to cook, let's say, a whole Thai spread, a whole Japanese spread. And the classes were taught in Filipino and in English. So the cooks would come and their employers would also come. And it was really such a nice way of teaching. So it was the way it was. And now it's going to be the first, in fact, bilingual cookbook because it's also going to be done in English and Tagalog. I don't know if it's the first, but it's going to be a bilingual cookbook.
But that's amazing that you're bringing good food into to many people's homes in so many different ways, even teaching the cuisineras, and that's wonderful. I think sharing your knowledge is a beautiful gift, and you do that so well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have some questions from our guests today, so I'm going to read them out. Question number 1 from one of our guests. If you could describe yourself with a dish from the book, which one would it be and why?
Wow, that's that's such a Miss Universe question, di ba? It's such a Miss Universe question. If I and I'd like to think that the edit on the pakbet salad is my edit on the pakbet salad was done in such a way that it's new, it's fresh, it's innovative, it's playful. So I think that's the dish that best describes me and my cooking style. Grounded because there's nothing else that runs through my veins except Ilocano blood. So I'm 100% Ilocana, and that dish I think is most represents me the most.
So you guys got to try that as soon as you can. It's in the book.
Yes.
All right, another question. You like to wing it when you cook. What was the dish that surprised you when you first made it? When you just winged it and you were surprised that it was good?
We have so much. In fact, the recipe that we did today, the one that I taught Marielle, and I was actually floored when I looked at the cookbook and it says baked prawns. And I said, baked prawns, but everything else was pan cooked. Because the intention of that was actually to bake it. And in the end, I asked everyone in front of me, as I said, do you want to bake this or do you want to do it on the stove? Then everyone said stove, so it's easier. So there we go. It was actually cooked in a stove, so it's no longer baked prawns. But the procedure will just change. You can just split your prawns and put it in the oven, and it comes out pretty much okay. So what I try to do here, Jacob, is basically just let cooking be fun for everybody. You don't want to cook the oven, that shouldn't stop you. You can cook it on the stove top. I think as a teacher, to me, what's most important is that I'm able to convey that to my students, that it shouldn't be a hassle, it shouldn't be difficult. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm able to bring anybody into the kitchen, even to just fry an egg for the first time with confidence, then my job would have been done and done well.
Yes, it's I'm so excited to get into the kitchen. Sorry, 1 second. I'm so excited to begin cooking already that I already shortlisted a few recipes to take. We have a message here from Rina Lichuchua. Looking great, chef. We'll cook the shrimps later. Super, thank you. So,
well, thank you very much for joining us, Rina. Thank you very much. Actually, I don't think I can tell you how grateful I am actually that you're all here with us, that you actually took time out from your busy schedule to just be here and celebrate with us. Actually, you know what cooking is? Cooking is a celebration. And if there's anything about this pandemic, I think that saddens me, is the fact that coming together has become so difficult, and coming together with food and through food has become so hard to do. But then again, we can all cook from our own homes and we can all celebrate, as we will later on, as you'll see. There's no need for you to stop cooking, because now that maybe we can't celebrate together, you'll be cooking more for the people that you love because you're indoors and with your family.
it's true. Very, very true. So having come from our short forum with our audience, we'd like to talk about this book. This book is so diverse, Chef Reggie, it is, right? But what is the most celebratory dish? What do you recommend? The holiday seasons are coming up. What is to you a celebratory dish that we can talk about from this book?
Oh, celebratory. I think this is how this book differs, I think, in a way, is because it has that very easy to do shrimp, and it also teaches you how to roast the whole lechon. Actually, lechon is so easy to do. People just get so intimidated by it because probably by the size they think it's difficult, but actually it's not. It's one of those things that are very, very forgiving. Just leave it in the oven, be brave, and believe it or not, it's gonna get crisp, whether or not you do something. You just leave it in the oven. It's gonna be crispy no matter what.
Welcome to Reggie's Kitchen. Rain or shine, any day is lechon day. Today I'm cooking, guess what? Lechon. Stay tuned. I'll tell you how it's done. The first thing you need when you make lechon, of course, is a pig. So this is my suckling pig, 5 kilos. It's been cleaned, and now all I have to do is wipe it out. And then we're gonna season this. I have to put on my glove. Let me put this on first. And I'm going to salt my pig. I use my salt. This salt was formulated for me. It's natural sea salt, and it's rich in trace minerals. All natural Philippine sea salt. It's beautiful. So the first thing we're going to do is put about 2 tablespoons of it in the cavity of my pig and rub it. Then we're going to add a little bit of peppercorns, maybe about a tablespoon. Then I'm going to put a little bit of my wine. This too is made out of Philippine rice wine. Everything that we put in here is 100% Filipino. All the ingredients. It's 100% proudly Philippine made. It's Reggie's aromatic seasoning wine made out of Philippine rice wine and Philippine aromatics. It's beautiful. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons. And I'm just going to continue to rub this until such time that my salt melts. And then I'm going to put and stuff it with all the aromatic leaves and spices. So, my salt has dissolved. I'm now going to stuff my pig. One of the things that I love to put into my lechon is banana leaves. Banana leaves give it a nice sweet aroma. So you get banana leaves. You know what the best ones are? The young ones. It's really very, very aromatic when you start putting the young ones. So you cut your banana leaves. I have enough banana leaves, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff my lechon with tanglad. It's important that when you use it, you bruise it first lightly, or you can also crush it if you want it to. Next, I'll need a little bit of pandan leaves. This one, I'm just gonna crumple, like so. Then I also like adding sampalok. Nice young sampalok shoots. Take away the branches, you just like the leaves. So in this case, we're just going to take out the leaves. So you snip off the leaves from the branches. No branches. I find the branches make it bitter. Then, some green onions. You crumple it, crush it, just to release the flavor and the aroma. Then this is what we have. All of this we're gonna stuff into the lechon. I'm going to put it into the cavity. There you go. Then, what I'm going to do is the rest of my leaves, I'm going to have to oil it a little bit. So all of this make your lechon very mabango. So just drizzle a little bit of oil. This is again my oil. It is formulated for me by the makers of Lorin, and it's 100% coconut oil. And it's beautiful. Again, proudly Philippine made. Once it roasts, the leaves don't become wilted. Instead, they cook. Slowly, we stuff it with the pandan. The tanglad is already there. So we have the banana leaves, the sampalok leaves, the green onions. Now we're going to stuff it with a little bit of onions. Maybe 2 onions would be enough. Wedge that. Then, you'll need some garlic, maybe 8 pieces. You can put more, you can put less. Then, I like putting aromatics. Cinnamon sticks, some laurel, bay leaves, and star anise. These are the ones that take away the smell of the pig. Now that we've stuffed it like this, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to secure the cavity with a string. Siyempre, we're going to sew it together. All right, so the pig is done. The next step now is we cut this up and then I salt the whole pig. Rub some salt until it disappears. So you need about 2 teaspoons of salt for your pig. So my pig has been salted. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brush the ears and then I'm going to I'm going to wrap it with baked paper and foil. Wrap this around the pig's ear. And we get some foil. We do the same for both ears so that the ears don't burn when we cook them. All right, so now we close this. It's inside my favorite JY brick oven. This is for me the best to roast my pig. It's gonna stay here for about 2 hours or I'm gonna check after about an hour and a half to see how my pig is doing. There's the pig. So I'm now going to take out all the foil. Be careful when you take out the baked paper. Be very careful, otherwise the ear will go with it. That's why it's important to oil it well. Then the tail. There you go, my lechon is done. I hope you learned a thing or two about roasting a lechon. It's quite easy, all you have to do is be brave. And if you fail the first time, guess what? Try and try again. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.
That looked absolutely delicious. And I can say from personal experience where Chef Reggie has roasted a lechon for me. Actually, I have a fun story I'd like to share. One of the first meals Chef Reggie ever cooked for me, she asked me, Jacob, what do you like to eat? What Filipino food do you like to eat? So I said, Chef, my favorite Filipino food is dinuguan. So then a week later, we have a dinner at Chef Reggie's house, and she brings us into her pool house, and you see this beautiful spread of shrimps, this amazing dinuguan. And then she said, wait, that's not all. We cut into this beautiful lechon, and out pours this amazing dinuguan rice. And I remember that was probably the best lechon I have ever had, no exaggeration, so good. Just sharing.
Hey, Jacob, you remember that, no? Because you guys wanted that, so what I did was I just put 2 dishes in one. So I stuffed the lechon with dinuguan, right?
I could never forget how delicious, how flavorful it was. It was so crispy. The meat was perfectly cooked.
But you remember how funny that was? I just went in for a while. When I got back, the lechon was almost gone. It was half gone.
Yes, I would have finished it all by myself if there weren't any other people there, because I wanted to share. But my gosh, so good, so good. We have several messages, some shout outs from Miss Imelda Tan. Chef Reggie used to look whatever leftover ingredients she has after the last dish is cooked. With the leftover ingredients, she comes up with a bonus recipe, and they are treasures, such as yummy instant dishes. Wow, what are these instant dishes, Chef Reggie?
I don't even know, a lot of times during class, I recall one class, I checked how many bowls do I have. So we looked at the counter and I had I think 26 bowls. I don't know if any of you, my students here, remember. So I made 24 sauces for our Mongolian spread, or was it a steak class? And sometimes I look and whatever's left there on the counter, I just say, what are we going to do with all these ingredients? So I whip something up in a flash. What do I whip? I don't know. It's just I don't know, some sort of spirit enters me just during class, and then I just cook. That's what I always say. When I start cooking, I don't really think about it. I just go. I just cook. I just feel and throw things in.
The spirit of the food gods enters you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Take over and create magical dishes. We have another message from Miss Vivian Go. This cookbook is a treasure. The recipes are easy to follow, and yet they are amazingly good. I can attest to that. They definitely are.
Thank you very much to all of you, and thank you also for buying our books. Thank you for making it. Jacob, our book sold out in 1 month after we launched it.
Oh,
we had to go on reprint exactly. We went on reprint exactly 1 month after we launched the book. So now it's also an ebook. So we are very blessed in that sense.
Wow. So ebook, where is it available? Yes, I will tell everyone where it is available shortly. Do you have any final words, Chef Reggie, before we move on?
Yes,
We say
before I let you go, I would like to really thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for joining us. I know how hard it is to actually sit and Zoom, sit and FB Live. People think it's easy, but it's not. The fact that you actually took time out to be with me, know that I am grateful. And there's so many people I'd like to thank. Do you think I should run through my thank yous again from the book? But I've done that already during the launch. You all know who you are. There are countless people who have been with me and have contributed to the person that I am now. All my sponsors, all these people. As I journey on, I've come to meet so many people and so many friends. I mean, like you, Jacob, thank you for doing this with me and for me. I know that I am grateful. To my publishers, thank you very much for trusting me. To my students, thank you for loving me. To my family, and I get so emotional. My family, my family, my family. What more can I say? I am ever blessed with a family, not just the family that I'm born with my family, all of you guys. Thank you. It's bittersweet that I'm launching another thing. I keep launching books, and I have to mention my mom. Every time I used to launch books, my mom was always the first one to see the book. Notes from My Kitchen, the actual book launch, the book launch of this book was the last book that my mom actually saw. And a few days after, she passed on. So Mom, Dad, my brother Boy, and my sister Vicky, all of you who are with me and praying for me, thank you very much. And to my God, my ever gracious, ever loving God, my angels and the universe, thank you. And may my cooking hands forever bring you glory. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Notes from My Kitchen is available in all select national bookstores, and Jacob will tell you where all the ebooks are available.
Chef Reggie, thank you for that beautiful message. And thank you everyone for being here today. Notes from My Kitchen is available on anvilpublishing.com, nationalbookstore.com, and Anvil Publishing's official stores on Shopee, PH, and Lazada. It is made easy for everyone to purchase. The ebook is also available on iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, Odilo, Vivilo, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon Kindle. For assistance on any of the book orders, please email online sales at anvilpublishing.com. I'll repeat that. Email online sales at anvilpublishing.com. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did.
And before I go, remember, try to cook. Try to get into the kitchen. Be brave. You have no idea how fulfilled you'll be once you actually cook a dish. So to everybody, all these messages, thank you very, very much. To all of you out there sending me messages, thank you very much, and know that I am grateful. Again, take care, eat well, and stay safe. Our love to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you as well, Chef. Thank you.